Hey, it's MK, and I am here with a Woodgrain and Winter layout for you guys today. And today I am featuring day 13's Advent calendar gifty. That is this word called bookmarked, and it's got a little tassel like it is a bookmark. I thought it was kind of cool. I'm also using day 4's stencil. I know you guys are getting tired of me using this stencil. I'm going to bring out this Lost Shadow Distress Oxide, and I thought that my sponge was clean. I don't know, in all honesty. So I'm going to use these gorgeous photos from last year that were of our first frost. And I just fell in love with how our fence frosted off. I'm going to use this Minte paper that's Antique Shop. I think that said 2023. And it's page number 2. It's got this gorgeous collage on one side, but this beautiful wood grain on the other side. I think I bought 2 sheets of these because that wood grain is fabulous. I've got 2 sheets of Close to My Heart White Daisy. And then I just picked out a couple chipboard pieces and a laser cut or a die cut piece from 49 and Market's Moonlit Garden. And then these are all the little leftover gifties that I had from the Scrapbook Summit. I had free, well, if you joined the VIP section, it was all of these little cut files of fern leaves, and then these print then cut trees. And I printed these in black and white. They do come in color, but I purposely printed these ones in black and white. And then I have a bunch of vellum pieces from projects here and there. I also have 2 pieces of these acetate frames from 49 and Market, and I believe that's from the Gardenia collection, the black and white kit. Also from Close to My Heart, I have these silver sparkly gems that just happen to be hanging out. I think they were in my Christmas box. And then these 2 little leftover snowflakes from one of my first projects starting this month. And then I believe these little leaves were also left over, and they are from a Close to My Heart kit as well. So I'm going to go and back my photos on the wood grain, and I've got about a 2 1/4 inch piece left over from backing all of these photos. Like I said, I just love how the frost and the icicles hung on the gazebo and the fence this year. I just had to go out and take pictures. Kind of also get an update of the 57. Look, it's starting to look like a truck, you guys. Oh my gosh. This was right before the shop. Was it right before the shop or right before we got... No, the shop's already built. I don't know why the 57 is hanging out front, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I do know it took my husband forever to figure out how he wanted the shop to be laid out. Like, where does he want what to go, right? Yeah, it's a guy thing. It must be. So I went through and I outlined where I wanted all of my photos to go, and my 2.5 inch border of wood grain, because I'm going to stencil around it. I'm going to do a light dusting of stenciling. But I forgot to distress my edges. I really wanted to distress the edges, so I'm hoping... normally I distress the edges first because that kind of shrinks the edges a little bit, and I've already done my pencil lines. So I'm hoping that my pencil lines aren't going to get in the way. And I got so excited to start the project that I almost forgot to do the stenciling. So as you can see, I was reaching for the embellishments, and I thought, oh, no. I need to do my stenciling. So I've never actually really played with this Lost Shadow color. I was hoping to get a gray looking piece, and I'm getting a little bit of a bluey gray, which is just fine. It matches my photos even better than what I was hoping for with the gray. But I don't know if it was because of my blender brush that I was using. This was the cleanest blender brush that I had that looked like it was only used once for a color. Of course, it has to be a blue color. And when I wiped it off or scrubbed it on a paper towel, it was coming off clean. So I'm not sure if this is the Lost Shadow color or if this is just because it's picking up and re-wetting the ink that was already on my brush. But it was a great it was a great combination because this color is beautiful, and goes with my layout perfectly. So I could not be more happier with how that worked out. So I'm just going to go around all of my pencil lines and roughly use this amazing stencil, you guys. I am so sorry if I keep using it over and over and over again, but it is really very useful. I just love it. It's not any particular theme or anything. It is just a great background stencil. And I've never, when I put it in the kit, I never even imagined that I would be using it over and over again like I am. So I don't know. It might be a staple that stays on my desk forever. I'm not sure. All the other stencils are going to get jealous. It's like my Rudolph. So anyways, I realized that I wanted to have all of these leafy things poking out from my wood grain border. So I went and I put a strip of adhesive down, and I wanted the vellum to be on top of my film strip so that way it could be seen better, so that way they could stick out a little bit more, and be noticed a little bit more. So I wanted that, and then I wanted to mix a little bit of the white greenery, which defeats the purpose of calling it greenery. I wanted to put the white leaves down as well, and mix them in with the vellum. So I'm going to do that. Then I realized that I forgot my tree. Where do I want my tree to go? Oh my gosh, you guys, it's really hard to build something when you're relying on the top piece to hold everything down. So I was struggling just a hair, trying to figure out how I was going to get all of this to go. So I decided to put my tree underneath the film strip. That creates another problem altogether. I just can't win. But when I'm really happy with the border, I decide to go ahead and glue down the piece that's going to hold it all together. And then I can finally glue my pictures down. So I'm super excited. Yay, my border looks great. I'm so excited about my border. And I start to glue my photos down. Well, then I glue the picture of the 57 and I'm covering the top of my tree. Like you can't do that. That's the whole point. I wanted it to be there. So I'm going to cut into my film strip and then tuck my tree or my picture in there. Well, I didn't cut it far enough, and now I can't get my scissors there because I glued the whole thing down. Oh my gosh. So I take a chunk of my film strip out. Like I just cut it out. And then it works perfectly. Okay, that's great. But now my film strip doesn't go all the way up like I wanted it to. Like, oh my stars. What do I do now? Well, I'm going to ignore it because that's what I like to do. Until I can figure out what I'm going to do about my little film strip issue. I'm going to take the other film strip and just create a little border down below these two photos here. I love these icicles, you guys, hanging down on the gazebo. They were so cool. And then, of course, my kids, as they walk by to go to school, they pull them down and be kids with them, right? It was so fun. It's just so fun. So I am roughing up the edges on all of these cuts because of the fact that I felt like they were a little bit on the big side, but I also really liked the fact that when I did rough up the edge, they kind of blended into the background a little bit better instead of it just being a straight cut. I'm not sure what happened. When I took my bookmark, or when I went to go and open the bookmark word from the packaging, I actually broke it. So yes, my bookmark is broked. I apologize. That's not a real word, but I'm going to use it. But it's okay. Once I glue it down, you won't even be able to tell that it got broke. So I'm going to go ahead and add my third little tree cluster over on the right side and add a little saying. I can't remember what it says. If I'm being honest, I can't, but I am going to add that. And like I said, I'm just going to ignore that little piece is there. It does bother me. But then by the time I'm done with the rest of the layout, I'm so happy with it. It doesn't bother me anymore. So I'm okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and tuck in a few of these little vellum pieces up at the top, and then I'm going to create one more cluster down at the bottom on top of my little border that I made, kind of like a swag going on, and then use the All My Heart for my centerpiece of the swag. So I have to tell you guys that the vellum pieces are a little on the red side, and I don't remember why. I don't know what tinted them red, but I am a-okay with that. I think now that I'm saying that they're red, I think I remember the project that I used this on was another monochromatic layout. But yes, I'm not really sure, but I'm hoping that they don't stick out too much. So the last thing I'm going to do is add my little snowflakes. Well, it's not the very last thing I'm going to do, but for the embellishing, I'm going to add these little snowflakes. And this one in the center of the swag was absolutely perfect. I go off camera and glue everything down. And now I am going to just add all of these little gems. At first, I wasn't going to add all of them, but then by the time I scattered them around, I only had, I want to say 3 left. So I was okay with just using them all. I really like how they all turned out. And it just definitely made and gave that sparkle of snow. You know how snow glistens? This definitely helped tell that story. It was pretty cool. It's been a long time since I've used these types of gems on my layouts. It's been a long time since I've used enamel dots on my layouts. So I was pretty stoked to get these 2 packages used up and on some layouts. I really like that. So like I said, I only ended up, it looks like I ended up with 3 left over. And so I'm just trying to find homes. Well, that's a lot more than 3 now that I'm looking at it. But you get to see my hands dance all over the page to find that perfect little spot. I put it at the tip of my finger, and then I just kind of move it around to see where it looks the best before I glue it straight down. All right, you guys, so that is my layout for today. I absolutely was super stoked with how I wanted this layout to look and come out, and I'm glad that it did. I love seeing the stencil even behind the film strips. That is pretty cool too. So thanks again for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to check out the playlist for Woodgrain and Winter. There's lots and lots of people from YouTube playing along. We also have we being Janet Fritz and myself. Janet Fritz is playing along as well over on her channel, Galaxy Girl Creations. And then we both have Facebook groups. So we are sharing our creations, and those that do not have YouTube are sharing their Woodgrain and Winter layouts over there as well, and the links for our Facebook groups are down below. All right, you guys, again, thank you so very much for hanging out with me today. I really, truly appreciate it, and I will check you guys all later. Bye.